Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So today I'm going to be unboxing and making a first impressions video about the Dwarf Labs 3 smart telescope. Now you might be asking, why does somebody who owns an observatory, a 2.5 meter dome, heavyweight telescope and mount, want to buy something like a Dwarf Lab 3 or any of the other similarly priced smart telescopes. So before we get started, a few disclaimers. All the equipment I review on this channel I bought myself for my own personal use. I'm an amateur astronomer. I'm not a professional reviewer. I don't work for, in this case, First Light Optics or indeed Dwarf Labs. This is purely my views of the equipment that I've bought. If it's useful to you, either somebody starting out in astronomy or somebody who is looking at maybe getting this piece of kit here, then great. I'm glad it'll be of use to you. Otherwise, scroll on or click on to the next video as you need to. So, as I say, one of the questions that I've had to ask myself, in fact, is why have I decided to go out and splash out, admittedly at the low end of the smart telescope market, for one of these smart telescopes, when I own a 2.2 meter dome with an observatory, heavyweight mount, and several fairly large and heavy telescopes to do astronomy. And that's pretty much in what I've just said. Most of the gear I own is fairly heavyweight. It's not easily portable. Certainly once it gets into the observatory, it's pretty much bolted down to a concrete pad. So it's not going to go anywhere. So in terms of my observing, I'm fairly limited in what I can see from my back garden. So to the south of me, sort of in this direction over here, my view is restricted by a neighbour's house, and obviously to the sort of northwest, there's another house in the way there, and my own house is on the northeast corner. So while I've got a fairly good view of the sky, not too many overhanging trees, etc., not too many lights, I am in a light polluted area. It's like Bortle 4 or 5 here, so there is a fair amount of light pollution here. And as I say, some of my views in several directions are quite restricted. So I like to have a mobile setup. So if you've looked at any of my early videos, I've still got the EQ6. I can pick that up and I can take it out to dark sky site. I've got a fairly good off-road vehicle. I can go pretty much anywhere with it that I'm allowed to in this country. And I can set up anything up to a 10-inch scope. I don't tend to take the 10-inch scope these days. It's far too heavy. But I will take out small apo scope, which is 80 millimeters scope, and I can go on image wherever I want it. The problem with all of that gear is that it comes in some fairly large and bulky boxes, and it weighs fairly heavily. The EQ6 mount is something like about 17 kilograms, and that's just for the head. So as I'm planning on going on holiday soon, and I'm also planning on heading over to Spain for the eclipse next year, I want something that's a little bit more portable and packs down into something that's a lot smaller than the three or four large boxes I currently have to take if I want to take a mobile, what I would call a mobile observing site anywhere with me in the country. So hence I've looked at some smart telescopes. So I did look at the full range. There's various ones available. The Bayonis ones, they're sort of like about $4,000, all the way down to the ZWO C-Star S30, which really did tempt me, I've got to admit. And that in the UK is sort of like £350 to £400. And I really did think seriously about that. It was a good price point, and I find it very attractive. I went for the slightly more expensive Dwarf Lab 3 because it just seemed to be more versatile, and it also was a lot lighter. Those are the main things. And the other thing about it is that it had a better sensor on it. It's got the IMX 678 sensor, which I'm actually strongly considering using to replace my planetary camera. So again, you've got good camera, what seems like a fairly good package, and you've got something that's fairly light and easy to move around. And the other side of it, and I'll put the sort of field of view comparison up here, is if you're starting out in astronomy, one of the things I did originally was took my APS-C camera, which is a Canon EOS 60D at the time, stuck it on the back of a telescope, and I started imaging with that. Now that gives you a field of view that just about covers the Andromeda galaxy. It's something like about 3 degrees, or 3.5 degrees across. When you actually look at the Dwarf Lab 3 and you actually put its capabilities through a field of view calculator, which you can see in a moment, you can actually see that it pretty much covers almost the same area. So you've got something that looks as though it'll cover, some fairly decent size astronomical objects. It's fairly light, very portable, and looks as though it might have the capabilities of just allowing me to wander around to dark sky sites with something that is not much heavier than a standard camera. So that's what its appeal was to me. So we'll get on with it, and let's open the box and see what it looks like. So this is it, freshly arrived from Fairsight Optics. It says may contain clouds. It does contain clouds. It's raining at the moment, so I'm just going to cut ahead in the video and just cut the tape off here. So back with you in a second. Okay, so we've got the box open. So this is a packing box. So inside here we've got another box. Oh, that's great. It contains the camera. So it's quite. Let me just tilt this down. It's actually quite small here, as you can see. In terms of size, I've got. I mean, this is my dog-eared Pocket Sky Atlas, and if you actually pick it up, in terms of size, it isn't a lot bigger than my Pocket Atlas. I can stick this in one of my field jacket pockets. So let me just get rid of all the plastic, all the cellophane. That's quite a nice box. I mean, it's usually quite well packed. Fairsight Optics themselves will put it in some decent packaging. Let's just dump that over there, and we will go and we've got security. Yeah, we've got a security tab on here. Let's just do another slice. And we've got yet another bag. This thing is getting smaller as I open it. Use that. Okay. Horrible fresh plastic smell. So we're finally down to the bag. Just hold this a minute. So, it is actually about the same size as. There we go, put it on the other way. My Pocket Sky Atlas. So it really is quite tiny. So somewhere in here, I'm assuming that's a zip. And we'll open it up. So we have a box, which I assume is cables, and inside here we've got the machine itself. Here's that one. So the bag itself is, put quite well padded. There's plenty of pockets in here for cables and what have you, so presumably it's a slide back in here. Yeah. In terms of size, well, let's just hold it here again. Back to the Sky Atlas. So actually, put the Atlas behind it. So it's actually smaller than my Pocket Sky Atlas in terms of overall width, but length it's about the same. Okay. Probably need to read some instructions before I play around with this. Turn the power on here. I'll give it a moment. Perhaps read the instruction manual. And in the additional box we have so this is the solar filter. We have a USB charging cable, USB-C type by the looks of it, cleaning cloth, instruction manual, and a shoulder strap. So all in all, no real surprise. It's just about everything you need to know to get going with it. The Dwarf doesn't come with a tripod in the same way the Sea Stars do. That's fairly well advertised, but it's a standard 1/4 inch tripod mount here. I've got plenty of photographic tripods, so putting this one on there is not going to be any kind of onerous issue for me. So, but obviously, if you don't have a tripod, you might want to consider buying one if you're looking at getting one of these. So let's I'll have a read of a few things and I'll get back to you. Okay, right. So I've just downloaded the app from Google Play, as I used an Android device. So you've got your 3 barcodes here. We've also got another one down here for joining a Facebook club. We have 4 barcodes. So one's obviously App Store, the other's Google Play. There's also another one for Dwarf Labs, which is for your instructions, and the Facebook group is on here. So I've downloaded it. I've started up the app. I've had to do as you normally do with apps these days, which is, excuse me, allow a number of permissions on the phone. So I'm now connected. It has recognized my machine. I've got my serial number for it here. So I shall just connect. We'll see where it goes. Right, we're back. So I learned from my mistake. Make sure I get NFC switched on your phone when you're doing the setup process. So this is now set up. It took a few minutes to upgrade the firmware in the device itself. So that's straightforward. You need to have a connection between the device, a Dwarf 3, and your mobile phone using the Wi-Fi that's coming out of the Dwarf 3. It's got its own Wi-Fi connection, so make sure they're connected up. Download the software over your 4G or 5G signal on the mobile phone, and your mobile data essentially is being used up at that point, and then an update onto the Dwarf 3. So it was actually straightforward in the end. I just didn't have my phone configured properly because I don't normally use NFC for anything. So yeah, that was a me error more than anything. So I have quickly, as the sun popped out, I'm just taking it outside, popped the solar filter on. Let me just show that here. It's a magnetic solar filter. I'm not sure what the substrate is between the ND filters there. I'm not going to touch them. It's just the way I am with solar filter. So it's a magnetic clip. So let's just pop it up here. So it literally just pops on there like a sort of pince-nez glasses. And drop it out. And it's pretty firmly in place, so it's not really going to drop off. If you get a gust of wind or something like that and ruin your cameras or ruin any of the lenses. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that seems to be a nice little feature. I did have it tracking the sun and stacking photos for it briefly. I think I downloaded it to my phone, so I shall possibly pop that photograph on at the end of this video, see what it did. As far as the tripod connection is done, I've got to put my Manfrotto connection on here. As far as tripods are concerned, this is going to go on my 055 heavyweight tripod that I use for photography. That's just me. I just like to have a fairly hefty device like this. Well, say hefty, it's just over 1.5 kilos. I like to have it on a solid tripod. But there are plenty of lightweight carbon fiber tripods out there. I've actually got one somewhere, but it's not with me here at the moment. That would easily sit on that. And again, most of the weight in the device itself seems to be in the base. I think that's where the batteries are. So it's not top heavy. So that's a consideration when setting up the balance of the tripod. But yeah, I mean, as far as setting it up, I had to download the Star Atlas. So that was another thing, bringing over the Wi-Fi. But once that's there, you can then go around, select an object, click on it. I just used it for solar imaging, so it found the sun. Really asked me for fine adjustments with the mobile phone. Targeted it up, clicked it off, set it up for tracking, and that was it. Away it went. And now the clouds have come back, so that's the problem with doing anything in the UK. You wait 10-15 minutes and the weather changes. So that really was a start point. So initial impressions, it's quite nice. It certainly feels like a substantial device. One of my pets sort of, and it might just be me, want to find out if there's somewhere on the app. I'll have to read the instructions in a moment. See if I can park the lenses so they're parked downwards, so that I'm not potentially getting damaged whilst they're being carried around in the box. I'm sure that's there somewhere. And that's about it, just for an initial impression. What I will do sometime over the next few weeks is possibly come back and do an extension to this video or a separate video and compare it, photographing something like Andromeda or another sort of summer object in the sky versus my my normal setup with the ED80. And we'll see how that goes, and I'll report back on that. A slightly more graphic illustration of what I was saying earlier. On the left side, we've got a pile of 4 boxes. That is my EQ6 German equatorial mount. That's in the black Explorer box in the middle there. The box at the bottom contains a Skywatcher Esprit 80 ED apochromatic telescope. It's a really good wide-angle imaging scope, that one. And sat on top of that, the grey box contains my old Canon EOS 60DA DSLR, astro-modified DSLR, and there's a power tank on that little Jackery unit, plus obviously the heavy-duty tripod for the whole lot. So if I'm running around, here in Shropshire, or fairly local in the UK, I want to get over dark site, maybe go over into Wales, that might be the type of thing I'll take with me, and it will more or less fill up the back of my car. On the right hand side, we've got the Dwarf 3, so we've got tiny little bag there, plus standard photographic tripod. I've actually got smaller and lighter ones than this one. They seem to be able to take it. So it's a question of which would you rather carry, if I'm going to go out for an evening dark sky, deliberately observing something, then I might take the pile on the left, because I'm going to be able to set it up so that I've got not just EQ aligned, but also got it set up so that it's polar aligned within a few arc seconds using something like SharpCap. Whereas it's more of a guesstimate using the Dwarf 3, as I understand it. But yeah, we'll test that out. But if I'm in the same car with my family, with all of our gear to go on holiday, beach umbrellas and all that kind of stuff, even with a roof box on, that pile on the left takes up an awful lot of space. So as far as I'm concerned, going away for short trips somewhere or just holidays, this is kind of where I was initially looking at the Dwarf 3. But it also occurs to me that this might be something that I could take with me just about anywhere. So if I'm off somewhere in a dark site and I want to take a quick set of photographs or do a bit of astro imaging, that seems like the ideal thing to set up and I can carry around with me. Looking at the bag, actually, because I didn't cover this earlier, it's actually fairly good. If I just pick this up here. So on the bottom here, we've got a set of carry straps. So again, coming back to the whole issue with tripods, the straps are long enough on here in order to be able to quickly strap a lightweight tripod on the bottom of the bag and take that with you. So as far as an ideal portable sort of carrying system, certainly at this stage, it's early days. The Dwarf 3 or similar type of telescope, you might be looking at the Seer stars. It certainly looks like a good option. So that's it for me. If you found it useful, leave a like. I may do other videos about this, so if you want to subscribe. Alternatively, if I've not picked up anything or there's anything you want to question me about, obviously leave a comment and I will answer it. But for now, goodbye, and I'll see you on the next one.